Welcome back to United TV. You've joined me for a mini preview of our next encounter, FC Porto versus Manchester United in Portugal, Europa League Match Day 2. But before we continue, please make sure you've liked this video, share the video around, drop any comments. I want to hear what you've got to say, I want to hear your opinion, and of course subscribe to the channel and have that notification bell switched on so you don't miss any future content. In this video we're going to be looking at the form of the two teams, how did Porto get on in match day 1, we'll look at the Europa League group standings, we'll look at our injury news as well as possible 11s, who I think is going to be the key player and my score prediction for this game. Starting with the form then, FC Porto, 3 victories in the last 5 games, 2 defeats however, one of which was on the opening day of the Europa League campaign against Porto Glimt, and one which was against their bitter rivals Sporting Lisbon. United on the other hand, 2 wins which seem a long way away now, followed by 2 draws and a bad defeat to Tottenham at Old Trafford 3-0. This game feels like a crucial game for Ten Hag. The pressure's mounting, the papers, the media, they've got their knives out, they're sharpening the knives and they're waiting to stab them into Eric Ten Hag. He's got to pick up at least a point in this game in my opinion, if he's to withstand this heavy pressure that's building for the international break. So looking at how FC Porto then got on match day 1 in Norway. It's a game that the stats don't really reflect the scoreline. Porto dominated the possession, and if you look at the second half stats, they really dominated that game. However, Porto Glimt, they've got 3 goals and they've got previous for shocking big teams in Europe. When Jose Mourinho was the manager of Roma, Porto Glimt famously beat Roma 2-1 and took another scalp in Europe. So that's something to be aware of when we face Porto Glimt later on in the competition. And if we look at the standings then and how that leaves the 2 teams, United then with the draw on the opening match day against FC Twente in 22nd place, FC Porto with their defeat lie in 24th. The good news is for United, at the minute we're in the playoff positions for qualification to the next round. However, we've got to pick up points in this game to avoid slipping out into the bottom section. Looking at the injury news then, and the injury list is actually growing again, unfortunately. So we've got the usual suspects on the injury list who have been on there long term. Lenny Yoro then with his metatarsal, still not expected back till the end of November. Tyrell Malacia, equally expected back towards the end of November with his long-standing knee injury. Luke Shaw then is expected back the first week of October with a calf. Victor Lindelof similar with his ankle. Mason Mount is an unknown at this stage. He's still being assessed by the medical team. He picked up a head injury in the defeat to Tottenham. He could have concussion, in which case, if he has concussion, he's not expected to feature in this game, but we'll see. Harry Maguire is also a doubt, and Kobe Mainoo is doubtful after coming off in the Tottenham game as well. He went straight down the tunnel. There's been no news come out of Manchester United, but it's definitely a doubt for this game. Looking at the possible 11s, this is what I think the possible 11 could be for Manchester United then. I've gone with a familiar back 5. I expect Dalot to continue at left back. I haven't been impressed with him at left back in the last few games, especially against Tottenham. But due to the lack of competition with the 2 injuries to Malacia and Shaw, I do expect him to continue there. Martinez and De Ligt I think will continue their partnership. I don't expect that to change much throughout the season as long as they both stay fit. Mazraoui, I expect him to continue at right back and get over that poor game he had against Tottenham. One selection which might surprise you then, I've gone for Anthony on the right wing for his defensive work rate. I think this is a game that Eric Ten Hag cannot afford to lose. So for that reason, I think we're going to set up in a more defensive shape, and Anthony's going to be key to that with his defensive work rate and ball winning statistics. Ugarte could be another one that could be important in this match then. He's got good knowledge of the Portuguese game. He'll have played against a lot of these players before. He'll know the game inside out. So for me, he's key in the middle. And I'm partnering him alongside Casemiro for a bit of solidity in the midfield. That means that on the left, I'm going to pick Rashford. For me, it's between Rashford and Garnacho, but I think he will put Rashford in this game. It's an intimidating atmosphere at Porto, so I think he's going to go with the experienced player there. I expect Bruno Fernandes to keep his place, and I'm going to go for Rasmus Højlund up front. So for me, this is where his season starts. He could be the key to this game. He's got a good record in Europe, so for me, I think Xerxes drops down to the bench, possibly rested for the Aston Villa game, and Højlund is going to start up front in this game. And with that in mind, my pick today for the key player in this match is Rasmus Højlund. As I mentioned, he's got a very good record in Europe. As you can see, 11 goals in 20 games, and that includes 5 and 6 in our ill-fated Champions League campaign. So he could be the one to score goals in Europe. He's got a track record of doing it. So what we've got to do is get the ball to Højlund early, and we've got to find him in positions where he's able to get a good strike away on goal. My score prediction for this game is a close 1-1. To me, this is going to be a game where Manchester United have to grind it out. We have to sit in. We have to close those gaps that we saw so evidently against Tottenham. We have to make it difficult for Porto to play through us, and we have to hit them on the counter-attack. So for me, this is a game we must not lose. I'm going to go with 1-1, and I'm backing Rasmus Højlund to score the goal. Thank you for watching this video. If you've liked the video, please drop a like, drop your comments in, let's hear what you've got to say, let's have a chat in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, and of course have the notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks very much for watching.